Cubs end up splitting with the Miami Marlins, one of baseball's worst teams, and Kyle Hendricks again hit around pretty good second time through the lineup by the Miami Marlins. Do the Cubs have a decision to make? We're going to talk about the Cubs legend and maybe this being close to the end of his Cubs career. Or is there a way to utilize his abilities without having him in the starting rotation? Or is he going to stay right there in the rotation? Justin Steele threw at Wrigley. He's got a schedule for return. We're going to get into that. Seiya Suzuki starting to get back into light baseball activity and more. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Get in the comments section. Tell me what you guys think, and let's get this thing started with a big Go Cubs. What do you say, everybody? Great to have you with us on the Cubs Baseball channel. I'm Mick Gillispie at Broadcaster Mick, and it is a pleasure to have you guys here hanging out on a Monday. All right, let's talk about what's going on right now. Cubs, a 6-3 loss to the Miami Marlins. The hapless Miami Marlins win 2 of the 4 games at Wrigley. The game that Adbert Alzolay blew in the 9th inning, and then Kyle Hendricks came in, and honestly, it felt like more of the same to me. I'm watching the Cubs post game and there's all this positivity. I just didn't see it. 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, didn't walk anybody, 5 strikeouts, but the ball's still over the plate. And he didn't give the team really a chance to win. And that's the biggest problem that I have right now with what's going on. His ERA is 12. He's 0-3 on the season. And I feel like that the Cubs have to make a decision here on what they're going to do with his spot in the rotation. Do we love Kyle Hendricks? Yes. Is he one of the all-time greats? Yes. Is this personal? No. But the problem is that when he pitches, he does not give you a chance to win, and his stuff just isn't getting outs. It's just not. It's hittable, and he doesn't throw hard enough to make mistakes, at least with location. And the location and the mistakes are out over the plate, and these guys are killing him. So another loss for him, another loss for the Cubs. But more importantly, what do you do with Kyle Hendricks? You could send him back to Arizona, and maybe it's some kind of an issue with his arm. You know, maybe they're not telling us, but he's sore, or maybe, something's wrong. Maybe he goes on the IL. Would the Cubs send him back to Iowa? If he was somebody else, they would. If he was somebody else on the team, then he would go back there. He's got options. Maybe you send him back. Would he accept that assignment? I don't know. But maybe you go back to the minor leagues and you just figure it out. And I don't know enough. I'm not a pitching coach to say, hey, you know what? If we can figure this out and we can figure that out, maybe we can get him back on track again. But watching him get beat around in the big leagues in a divisional race when all these games count, is probably not the right formula. Maybe if you send him back, when he goes to the minor leagues and makes a couple of starts, whether it's on a rehab or, he gets sent back down there, he gets better and maybe you have something. Or maybe it's time to retire. Yeah, I'm saying it. Maybe it's time to retire. Players eventually run into a wall that they can't get around. I felt like he was a little bit better. But is a little bit better 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs against the Marlins? Javier Assad deserves a spot in the rotation. He's earned it. He's better. And that's what should count. And one of the biggest problems we have in baseball is that so much of the way that roster spots are figured out are who's paid more, who's paid to be there. But the bottom line is that sometimes a guy that's paid to be there isn't cutting it. And a guy that might not be paid as much is getting it done. So are the Cubs more worried about legacy? Are they more worried about making sure that their money's spent on guys that are, succeeding? Or are they more worried about winning? Because if they're worried about winning, it needs to be Javier Assad. And we need to figure out what's going on with Hendricks. Maybe it's just the bullpen. Maybe slide him out to the bullpen. And I would love to see him figure it out and then all of a sudden come back in. This isn't a criticism of Kyle Hendricks, the person. I love him. I think you guys do too. But he doesn't give you a chance to win. And winning is what this is all about. And I think we found out last year, every game counts. So this is a series that you got to win at home against a terrible baseball team, and you're walking out with a split. So it is what it is. Justin Steele will pitch in extended spring on Friday. We saw him at Wrigley through a basically live batting practice, and everything was great. The sooner that he's back, the better it's going to be. But this is a long process. And we got into this yesterday when we questioned, why are the Cubs having all of these issues with muscle strains, right? He's got one. And that's why he's on the IL right now. And the problem when you have those is that they just take a long time to recover from. I had one. I got one in football in my groin, and it literally took 6 months and not playing football at all to get past it. And I kept trying to play, and then I would re-injure it every week. Got to the point where I could barely walk, and I'm not even talking about playing at that level that these guys are at, at the major league level. I'm just saying, just playing football. So, amateur football. You got to let it rest. They have the best treatment in the world, and it's good to see Justin Steele kind of taking those steps to get back there. Another muscle injury is Seiya Suzuki. He started light baseball activity on Sunday. Outfield's done well without him, but he's a big piece of the puzzle for this team. And I'm going to go back and say it again. When you traded Nelson Velasquez, your insurance policy's gone. Although I think Mike Tauchman's done a nice job. I think that, Cody Bellinger is starting to look like Cody Bellinger again. Remember, Ian Happ's not on the IL, but he's not available with another muscle injury, by the way. So Alexander Canario's been out there playing, and it's been an adventure, but he's done a nice job. But the Cubs got to get it figured out because, they're not going to have Seiya for a while, right? You're talking 4 to 6 weeks. So it's good to see him start in as they say, very light baseball activity. So he's starting to get back at it again. And hopefully he'll be someone that the Cubs can get back in there relatively soon. Now, one of the things that I bring to the table is I can talk about the minor league options. I don't think Owen Casey's ready. I don't think Pete Crow Armstrong is ready. The guy that you had ready, you got in the big leagues right now, and Alexander Canario. So we saw Patrick Wisdom play a little bit of outfield. I'm not a big fan of his defense, but you know what? I mean, right now you're just trying to do the best you can to put a team on the field. And I got to give Craig Counsell a lot of credit with all of these injuries and dealing with your best pitcher being out, your best player arguably being out. The Cubs have still done a pretty consistent job of being able to win. Now they got to figure out what they're going to do in the closer spot. And we got into that yesterday. Maybe you do closer by committee. But Adbert Alzolay is not reliable. He came in a non-closer role in the game on Sunday and threw an inning, did well, got a strikeout. Cubs got to get it figured out, though. And, losing 2 out of 4 to a bad Marlins team is baseball, honestly. I mean, that's just how the game works sometimes. It all matters on, the way that things fall, but it would have been nice to take advantage of the Marlins, a team that's no good. Now they got to focus on the Houston Astros coming in, and we'll be covering that. But I want to tell you guys this. Make sure you check out the interview with Cade Horton, the Cubs' top pitching prospect. He is on a very slow development process, throwing not a whole lot of innings and not a whole lot of pitches. And the reason why, and that's what a lot of teams are doing. I mean, look at what, Skeens with the Pirates, who's their top pitching prospect, is throwing. Same as Cade Horton, 3 and a third innings, 4 innings maybe, and not a lot of pitches. They want to save those for the big leagues. But Horton is someone that you should be really excited about. He's got the stuff to come to Chicago and make a big-time difference. And we talked to him. We talked to Matt Shaw. That's another interview that you'll be able to see here on the channel this week. But get in the comments section, like and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, tell your friends about us, And let's hope that that we start getting healthy and get this ball rolling. We'll keep an eye on Ian Happ. Again, not available for the Cubs on Sunday, but I'm looking for them to they're going to have to do one of two things. He's either going to have to be ready to play, or they're going to have to make a move and bring someone up. And could that be Peralta, who they signed to a minor league contract in the offseason, and a guy that we've seen play relatively well in the past? He's in AAA, so maybe that's somebody to keep an eye on with this, because I'm guessing that if Happ goes on the IL again, then that's going to be the next move that the Cubs make. And I guess he really didn't go on the IL in the regular season, but remember, at the end of spring training, he was someone that we didn't see a lot. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Again, Mick Gillispie, go Cubs.